What's the single most dangerous point of failure in an outsourced civil engineering project? It's not a flaw in the CAD drawings or a complex calculation error. It's the silent, seemingly harmless gap between your team ending their day and your outsourced partner starting theirs. That 12-hour gap is where simple questions become costly assumptions. This video exposes how that communication lag can introduce catastrophic errors into your project before you've even had your morning coffee. We'll show you why real-time communication isn't a luxury. It's the only way to safeguard your project's integrity. A garbled video conference or an unanswered email is not merely an operational inconvenience. It is the initial stress fracture in a project's foundation. These seemingly minor communication gaps are the starting point for systemic failures that can compromise an entire civil engineering project. AXA Engineers understands that the core vulnerability in many outsourcing partnerships is a structural gap in communication, an issue rooted in three primary causes. The first and most evident is the significant time zone difference, which inherently delays critical decision-making. A query sent from a U.S. project manager at the close of their business day may not be seen by an overseas team for 8 to 12 hours, halting progress until a response is formulated and returned during their next working session. AXA Engineers addresses this issue through a dual-team working model designed to overlap directly with U.S. working hours, ensuring real-time communication instead of overnight delays. A question sent at 4 p.m. U.S. time is answered immediately, transforming what is typically a 12-hour lag into a seamless, continuous workflow. The second cause involves subtle but profound cultural nuances that lead to misinterpretations of technical specifications. Communication styles that are direct and explicit in one culture can be misconstrued in another that values indirectness, leading to ambiguity around critical instructions. AXA Engineers mitigates this risk through on-site training and cross-cultural immersion. By embedding engineers within client facilities, AXA Engineers gains first-hand knowledge of client workflows, standards, and communication culture. This training is then transferred to offshore teams, creating a consistent understanding of project expectations and technical language. The third cause is the absence of a unified standardized communication protocol, where a project's documentation and correspondence are fragmented across emails, chat platforms, and various file-sharing services, creating version control issues and a lack of a single source of truth. AXA Engineers solves this problem by implementing a centralized project management system integrated into its operational workflow. All design files, revisions, and correspondence are maintained within a single platform, ensuring strict version control and eliminating the risk of conflicting document updates. This fundamental misalignment in typical outsourcing partnerships creates a cascade of negative effects that extend beyond simple delays. A delayed query about a minor site survey detail, for instance, the precise location of an underground utility conduit, can halt an entire section of design work for a full business day. Design teams are forced into a difficult choice: pause their work, which directly impacts project timelines, or proceed with an assumption, which introduces significant risk. AXA Engineers' integrated real-time workflow removes this dilemma entirely. Immediate clarification prevents teams from working based on assumptions, reducing the likelihood of cascading errors and costly rework. Similarly, a misunderstood instruction regarding a specified material grade can lead to fundamentally flawed engineering drawings. If a design intended for high-strength concrete is accidentally modeled using a lower-grade specification, the error becomes embedded deep within the project's digital framework. AXA Engineers' emphasis on direct, real-time technical dialogue with clients, combined with its culturally aligned training, minimizes the risk of such misinterpretations, ensuring that design specifications are fully validated before being incorporated into subsequent design iterations. The erosion of efficiency caused by these common outsourcing issues directly impacts project timelines and budgets. Yet the more insidious effect is the degradation of trust and collaboration between the client and the external provider. Missed deadlines and accumulated errors cause clients to question their partner's competence, while defensive responses from the outsourced team further strain the relationship. AXA Engineers addresses this by establishing proactive communication channels and maintaining transparency at every stage of the project. Daily check-ins, immediate design clarifications, and real-time progress tracking ensure that clients are never left guessing about project status. Consider the direct consequences of gaps in daily operations. Workload instability arises as teams are forced into cycles of waiting for clarifications, unable to maintain a consistent pace. Revisions that should take hours instead take days. AXA Engineers turns this challenge into an operational advantage by operating on a 24-hour project advancement model. While US-based teams conclude their day, AXA Engineers' second shift team continues work, handing back completed deliverables by the start of the US workday. This not only eliminates downtime but accelerates project delivery far beyond what traditional outsourcing can achieve. Time zone differences, if unmanaged, create dangerous gaps in engineering oversight. A 12-hour delay in confirming a critical load-bearing calculation for a primary structural member can lead to an entire section of a building's design being completed based on an incorrect assumption. When the correction arrives, it often mandates a complete redesign of all dependent components, introducing unacceptable structural risks. AXA Engineers' real-time responsiveness ensures that no such critical calculation proceeds without immediate verification, protecting both structural integrity and project safety. The challenge of communication gaps in civil engineering outsourcing is not insurmountable, but solving it requires more than incremental fixes. It requires a structural shift in how partnerships are managed. AXA Engineers demonstrates that the solution lies in designing operations specifically around these vulnerabilities. With its dual shift model aligned with US time zones, cross-cultural training programs, on-site knowledge transfer, and centralized project management systems, AXA Engineers systematically eliminates the risks that plague most outsourcing partnerships. What is typically a time zone liability becomes, in AXA Engineers' hands, a competitive advantage, delivering rapid, accurate, and dependable engineering support that accelerates project timelines and enhances trust. The greatest risk in civil engineering outsourcing is not technical incompetence, but the silent failure of communication. This demonstrates that the integrity of a project is as dependent on the clarity of communication as it is on the strength of its structural materials. Therefore, when evaluating a potential outsourcing partner, the critical inquiry must extend beyond technical portfolios and cost structures to a rigorous assessment of their communication framework and risk mitigation strategies. Partnering with AXA Engineers brings the assurance of a structurally engineered operation, including a dual shift model aligned with US working hours and cross-cultural training, ensuring seamless, real-time collaboration. Informed decision-making necessitates prioritizing partners who adopt such operational models to safeguard project success.